Hello, Rebel, and welcome back to my life. Of all of the great dichotomies in life, perhaps none is so stark as the divide between cat people and dog people. No one is allowed to be neutral in this debate. Everyone must choose a side, and anyone who says they are not one or the other is lying to you. And probably to themselves. Me, I do love both dogs and cats, but gun to head, I'm a dog person. I don't dislike cats at all. I've had several in my life, and I really want to get another one as soon as circumstances will permit, but boy, do I really love dogs. So much so that I got our current dog, Chewbacca, when we had just had our second child, my oldest son, Luke. He was literally weeks old. My wife she was not super happy, but she understood because I have always loved dogs and they have always been a part of my life. A small part of my love for dogs is built out of this survivalist instinct that I realize is stupid, but I've never been able to fully rid myself of. I'm not a big doomsday prepper or anything. I don't stock up on weapons and MREs in case society collapses and we all have to fend for ourselves. But if that scenario were ever to happen, you definitely want a dog, not a cat. A dog will stick with you, it has some defensive capabilities, it can sense trouble, it's an excellent guard animal. Whereas cats, yeah, that's not a thing. I mean, let's face it, if the world were to end, a cat would probably just peace out. See ya, suckers, I can fend for myself. I'm not gonna waste time looking after you, too. Like I said, this isn't the primary reason I'm more of a dog person than a cat person, but it does highlight one of the things I love most about dogs. They're loyal pack animals, they love you, and their whole family, they've got your back. Cats are more self-serving noblemen who permit your existence. Except that, speaking honestly for a moment, neither one of them are those things, or at least it isn't that simple. The biggest factor in the different personalities of cats and dogs isn't actually anything inherent in the animals themselves, it's how we perceive their actions. Both of them are animals whose primary purposes in life are to find food and shelter and reproduce. When you boil it right down, that's all they want to do. But we perceive how they go about it differently in the context of how we ourselves act as human beings. Not to mention the fact that even within the various breeds of cats and dogs, individuals of each species can act wildly different from each other. I wouldn't necessarily call it a personality, but cats and dogs have very different behavior patterns animal to animal. And just like the animals themselves, two people can be cat people for wildly different reasons, and the same is true for dog people. In fact, I've met a dog person who was a dog person for the same reason that a cat person was a cat person. The dog person loved dogs because they thought dogs were more intelligent, and the cat person was a cat person because they thought cats were more intelligent. What type of domesticated animal we prefer is just one of the many, many ways we choose to identify ourselves. One way that we orient our experiences to the rest of the world and say, this is who I am. And in the end, I think whether we identify as a cat person or a dog person doesn't say as much about us as it says about how we perceive these animals and impose our own personalities on them. That is it for me today, Rebel. You can check out my last video on the channel right up there, or check out my Patreon right down there and see my secret weekend videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Friday. Bye!